Chosen one, there is something you have been avoiding, not consciously, not with intention, not the way you avoid a difficult conversation you know is coming, or a decision you've been postponing because the timing never feels right. Deeper than that, there is something God has been trying to bring you to, a place, a truth, a confrontation with yourself that you have been circling for longer than you realize, getting close and then pulling back, approaching it and then filling the space with activity, with noise, with the productive business of building and doing and moving, anything that keeps you from having to stop and face the thing that is actually standing between you and the life God designed. And heaven has been patient, remarkably, almost confusingly patient. But the patience was never indifference. It was God standing at that place, the one you keep circling, waiting, not with frustration, not with a timeline that expired, with the quiet, immovable certainty of someone who knows exactly what is on the other side of the door you haven't been able to walk through yet. And today he is saying, it's time, come to the thing you've been avoiding, because what you find there is not what you fear, it's what you've been looking for. Let me tell you what that thing usually is. It's rarely what it looks like on the surface. It doesn't usually present as a dramatic confrontation or a theological crisis or an obvious spiritual failure. It presents as something quieter and more personal than that. It is the belief you formed about yourself in your hardest season, the one you've never fully examined, because examining it would require admitting how deeply it took root. The belief that says, maybe I asked for too much, that the size of the life you sensed you were made for was presumption, not prophecy, that the vision God placed in you was something you manufactured out of need, rather than something he authored out of intention, that somewhere in the gap between what he promised and what arrived, the most honest explanation is not timing, but you, that maybe the delay is the verdict, that maybe the silence means what silence usually means. I need you to hear me very clearly right now. That belief is a lie, and it is the most specifically targeted lie the enemy has placed in your path, because it is the one that, if you believe it completely, requires no further attack. You will disqualify yourself. You will shrink yourself. You will manage your own diminishment without anyone having to force it. The enemy doesn't need to destroy what he can convince you to quietly abandon. And that belief, that the delay is the verdict, is the instrument of quiet abandonment. It has to come down. So, let me replace it with what is actually true. God's silence is not his absence. This sounds simple. You have probably heard it. But I want to take you somewhere underneath the surface of it. Because hearing it and knowing it at the level that changes how you live are two entirely different things. When God goes quiet in your life, when the clarity dries up, when the confirmations stop arriving, when prayer feels like sending letters to an address you're no longer sure anyone lives at, something is happening in that silence that is invisible from your position, but would be completely comprehensible from his. He is not ignoring you. He is loading. Think about what happens before anything of real power is released. Before a wave reaches the shore, the ocean pulls back, sometimes so far back that the ground that's usually underwater is exposed. And standing on the beach, it looks like the water is retreating, receding, leaving. But the pulling back is not departure. It is gathering. The further the water pulls back, the more force is being accumulated for what is coming. God's silence in your life has been gathering. Everything you prayed for that didn't arrive on your timeline. Every door that closed before you walked through it. Every season that stretched longer than you thought you could sustain it. Every night you talked to a God who seemed to be listening from very far away. All of it has been accumulating. Not wasted, not lost, not evidence of a prayer life that isn't working. Gathering. And what is gathering in the silence of God is something that, when it breaks, will be proportional to how long and how deep the silence was. Your long silence is not a sign of a small answer. It is the signature of something immense being prepared. But here is where I need to go deeper in the comfort of that. Because there is a reason, a specific, personal, lovingly honest reason why the silence has been this long for you in particular. And it is not what the lie told you. It is not that you are less loved, less chosen, less qualified. It is not that God ran the calculations and found you lacking. It is not punishment or distance or divine indifference wearing the costume of sovereignty. It is this: God was waiting for you to stop performing your faith and start living it. There is a version of spiritual life that looks exactly like the real thing from the outside, the consistency, the language, the showing up, but is operating from a fundamentally different engine, not surrender, management. The attempt to stay close enough to God that He remains accessible while maintaining enough control over the process that you are never fully at His mercy. It is faith with an escape route. And God, in His love, will not release the fullness of what He prepared for you into a version of you that is still managing the process rather than trusting it. Not because He is withholding, because it wouldn't survive the landing. The magnitude of what He is releasing requires a person who has genuinely let go, not performed letting go, not declared letting go from a safe distance, but arrived at the actual place of open hands. The silence was the invitation to that place. Every season of it. Come further. Let go more completely. Trust me at the level the assignment requires. And the question heaven's asking you right now, in this moment, is simply, have you arrived there yet? Let me speak to something that is going to feel uncomfortably specific. You have been faithful, genuinely quietly, at significant personal cost, faithful. You have shown up for God in seasons where showing up cost you things you didn't get back. You have obeyed in seasons where obedience led somewhere painful instead of somewhere obvious. You have held on when releasing would have been, by any reasonable standard, completely justified. And somewhere in that faithfulness, without fully noticing it happening, a transaction crept in. Not a conscious one, not a cynical one. The natural human response to sustained faithfulness without visible return. A quiet, almost imperceptible expectation that the faithfulness is being counted. That the account is filling. That at some point the balance tips, and what was invested comes back with interest, and the waiting ends, and the silence breaks, and the life God promised starts looking like what was described. Not greed, not entitlement, just the very human ache of someone who has given a great deal and is trying to trust that it matters. But here is what God needs you to hear about that. He never asked for faithful performance. He asked for faithful relationship. The difference is not semantic, it is everything. Performance says, I have done what was required. Where is what was promised? Relationship says, I don't fully understand this season, but I trust the one I am in it with, and the being in it with Him is not the cost I pay for what comes after. It is the thing itself. The shift from performance to relationship, from transaction to trust, is the threshold God has been waiting for you to cross. Not because He was holding the blessing until you got it right, because the crossing of that threshold is the transformation. It is the moment the foundation becomes unshakable. It is the moment the depth we talked about becomes real, rather than theoretical. It is the moment you stop being a person who is waiting for God to come through, and become a person who carries God into every room, every relationship, every ordinary moment of a life that is now indistinguishable from its purpose. That crossing changes everything, and you are right at the edge of it. Now, I want to tell you what is waiting on the other side. Not in the language of blessing lists or promised outcomes, because what is coming for you is too specific for generalities and too personal for a formula. In the language of experience, on the other side of that threshold is a version of your life where the striving stops. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are no longer deriving your sense of being okay from whether things are resolved. You carry a settled quality that has nothing to do with your circumstances and everything to do with your foundation. On the other side is the experience of operating from your actual identity, not the survival-shaped version, not the performance version, but the original, the one God made, the one that has been under construction in every hard season you've endured. That version of you moves differently, speaks differently, affects rooms differently, not louder, deeper, not more impressive, more real. On the other side is the clarity you've been praying for. Not the kind that removes all uncertainty, the kind that gives you enough light for the next step and the internal stability to take it without needing to see further than that. The kind that is less about knowing the full plan and more about knowing the one who holds it. On the other side is the recognition, the moment your life begins to reflect, unmistakably, the original design, when what God whispered before you were born starts becoming visible, not to everyone, to the ones with eyes to see it, and to you, finally, fully, without the filter of the lie that almost convinced you the design was someone else's. It is there. It has always been there, waiting at the place you've been circling. And what does it take to get there? One thing. Not more effort. Not more spiritual discipline added to the pile. Not a more impressive performance of faith, or a more articulate prayer, or a more disciplined version of the habits you've already been trying to maintain. One thing. The willingness to stop at the place you've been circling and stay there long enough for what is waiting to meet you. The willingness to bring what you've been protecting, the real fear, the real doubt, the real exhaustion, the real version of where you actually are, rather than the edited version you present even to God, and lay it down without managing how it looks. The willingness to say, not as a decoration performed for spiritual credit, but as the most honest prayer you have prayed in a long time. I am here, all the way here. Nothing held back. I don't understand this season. I am tired in ways I haven't admitted. I have doubted things I never said out loud. But I am here, and I am yours. And whatever you are building, I stop running from it right now. That prayer, raw, unmanaged, completely honest, is the most powerful thing you have prayed in years. Because it is the first one in a long time, with nothing behind it but truth. That is the door. That honesty. That arrival. That stop. And on the other side of it, not eventually, not after a further season of waiting, but in the act of finally arriving there, God meets you. Not as a distant sovereign who has been measuring your performance, as the Father who has been standing at that place the entire time, not waiting for you to get it right, waiting for you to come home. And home, the real version, the one your soul has been homesick for through every season of striving and performing and circling. Home is not a destination you arrive at after the breakthrough. Home is the breakthrough. Come to the comments right now and write, I stop running. I'm here, all the way here, not a performance, the realest thing you've typed in the comment section. That decoration is the arrival. The circling ends where the honesty begins. If someone came to your mind during this message, the one who has been circling their own place of avoidance, performing their faith from a safe distance, waiting for a silence to break that is waiting for them to arrive, send this to them without overthinking it. You may be the reason they stop circling today. Subscribe, because what God is uncovering in this season, the layers, the foundation, the original design, the threshold, is not a single conversation. There is more precision coming, more of the language for the exact place you are in. Don't miss it. If these words brought you somewhere real today, not comfortable, but real, and if you feel moved to support the ministry carrying this message forward, I invite you to give, whatever comes from a genuinely open hand. Not obligation, partnership. What you sow here reaches the next person who is one honest prayer away from the thing they've been circling for years. Your seed gets them there. Thank you, beloved. Stop circling. What you've been looking for is at the place you've been avoiding, and God has been there the whole time, waiting.